Kia ora koutou katoa. Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel, Aries, and also my Facebook page. And I just want to thank everybody for the likes, shares, thumbs up, comments, as well as subscribing to my YouTube channel. So if you haven't subscribed, I take this opportunity now to invite you to subscribe. So just an FYI that it is free to subscribe to my channel. Although if there are some, in the future, if I've got any courses or something like that or content there, there may be a charge for those subscriptions to go into that for ongoing different material and courses and things like that. So, but that is something different. On saying that, that will probably run through another sort of media program anyway. So, oh gosh, now that's really smoking. Anyway, so yeah, so go ahead and subscribe. It's free. So on top of that, so I don't know. There may be something like dithering or stopping, starting, like with a sense of uncertainty about something, because I'm kind of like, I have my little spiel and I'm going to go along and do it, but then something may have come up and maybe thrown you off guard a little bit. And we're just in this new moon cycle, so it was a new moon yesterday here in New Zealand, so there could have been something like maybe you something new or has developed or come to fruition, and you hadn't really, maybe you've thought about it, but you hadn't really thought about it happening like right now. So or maybe it's moving, or something's moving a little bit quicker than you anticipated, or the other way around. So maybe you were waiting for something to happen, and maybe it should have happened, or in your mind you're saying it should have happened or was meant to happen on paper or something else, but there's still something to come, which is still going to create this new beginning. But it's maybe a new beginning in the testing of your faith, in a sense, and that sort of a challenge, or your patience or something like that. But anyway, so because I'm just like, hey, I'm just going to go clear that energy with the sage now we've got going, and to clear whatever it is that's not meant to be there, but also just to clear the way of the mind thought, more the mind chatter than anything, that you may have gone into this funny little neg space in your mind, okay? And maybe you may be listening to the emotion, and like that. There's one thing about the gut instinct, but then sometimes our emotions can be what we think. We use that to think with rather than feel our way through it, and there's maybe an imbalance, because it's all kind of connected with our intuition. And yes, there is that gut instinct, but it's a different feeling from another feeling. So it's about learning to discern what it actually is about for you. And that you're not going in that fight or flight response sort of a thing in an anxious way, or in an emotional way where it's impulsive. So this is about you really listening truly to your true intuition, and but it's also about having and bringing in that faith and that trust that what is happening, and that you're going to see, feel, and be able the signs. And all the symptoms, whatever it is, signs and symptoms. I was going to be signs and symptoms, but the signs and the clues that present themselves to you, and might be really subtle, but this is about you being in the moment as well, because I feel like some things are starting to like click into place, and maybe you've missed them or something like that. Okay, so anyway, so going back to my intro, so thank you for all of that, and I do encourage you to subscribe to my channel as well, and also I'm going to be, and that's like with my Facebook page too. If you want follow, feel open. I invite you to follow and like on me on my Facebook page as well, and or Instagram. So because the content is slightly changing, and I'm just like separating it too, so the video is going to be mostly on here, but I am going to put the links up on the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, on Monday for you Pisces, because unless I'm running a little bit late, which was not Pisces, so there may be a Pisces in your space, okay, Aries, so use it on Monday. So sometimes there are things that crop up, as you have noticed, and I may be running a little bit out of sync as to what it says in the description box below. Okay, so just a reminder that these reads are general, so they may or may not resonate with you. Just take what does. Okay, so we all have free will. The readings, you know, because they are general, they're not there to tell you what to do. They're there to give you an idea and maybe an inkling that, you know, confirmation of, something that you may be feeling, or, you know, or have put out there, and that something is coming forward or whatever, or something that you may be going through. So this may be confirmation for that, to help you make your next move, or you're continuing this journey, whatever journey you're on. Okay, and just maybe giving you a little bit of a heads up, but we all have free will to make a choice whether we you know, to like I say, they're not going to tell you what to do. We have a free will to go down a path of whatever it is. So I was going, now as you can see that this is kind of, these two cards fell out. So, oh, sorry, Starman Tarot, I'm going to be using those today, as well as my trusty deck, older deck, the Juliet Shaman Burke, and my energy oracle cards. And I can feel something else, but we'll see. We'll see if I get see if I get drawn, or time works out. So the first card out is Temperance, and this is about balance. She brings a lot of balance, balancing the energy, which is kind of where I feel like this is, because it's like balancing out your energy, balancing out your body, balancing out your food, balancing out everything in your life. It's like there's maybe some sort of imbalance there, energy wise. So it's kind of taking some time out to you know, to sit back and watch, observe, watch what you're doing and what's going on around you, as to how well it works for you, for your highest good, but as well as for the higher good of one and all. Okay, is like that's whoever surrounds you. But I feel like this. Oh, so I'm kind of going to do the spread today, kind of. Like tighten it up as well. This is kind of well, my version of tightening it up anyhow. So today or you know, from now on, so this is something, I feel like this is in the past. This is, yeah, and then I kind of feel like this is where you are too now. So there's something about where there's a bit of balance that is probably needed, because this is where I feel like you're in the I want to go to the past, but it's also come back into the present and in the future. So in the past there may have been a little bit of imbalance, which is, you know, what I'm hearing in the recent past mostly, but this could have been hanging around for like a long time, for quite a long time. But I actually want to go to, this is you, okay, and this is like, where they go, the Prince of Swords, which is in reverse. So he's kind of like, when he fell out, he was to the side, and I'm looking at him and I'm thinking, okay, there's something turning around. So, and it's turning around to, you know, clockwise. So, and he's turned in reverse. So something is coming around with some some thoughts and some, you know, not so much feelings, but that too, thoughts and about communicating with someone or something. I kind of feel like some of you is maybe wanting to communicate some ideas, or a message, or some information, or just communicating expressing yourself, how you feel, and, you know, maybe one or all of those things in some sort of way to people. So here's the Temperance card here. So balance. So she talks about, in this deck, the theme with her is I am astonished by the beauty of life in all its facets. So it's kind of like, you know, looking at the bigger picture and bringing things together to bring into balance, you know, bring into balance some sort of, I'm hearing like the word synergy now, okay? And then we have the Prince of Swords here in reverse. But I'm going to turn him up, because things are starting to turn around, and it's like maybe you're getting your head around things. And because it's like, okay, I live by my ideals. The Swords is in this deck, so the Prince of Swords anyway. So he's like talking about, and this is, I feel like some of you are trying to figure out how, yeah, basically to get your head around how, you know, maybe it's something to do with Christmas or something to do with, you know, some sort of a new job or a new business, or you maybe leave, you know, working from, you know, moving from a business into a job or something like that, or the opposite way around. Maybe wanting to begin a business because, you know, because of the changes, something's happened and it's like, okay, and maybe you're just trying to still get you're at this place. I kind of feel like for some of you, just getting your head around it. And also I feel like some of you are moving overseas or looking at moving overseas. Could be back home for some of you, or it could be you're maybe wanting to, you know, build a future overseas, and it may be something that you've planned or put out there before the COVID thing, but, you know, because this whole year has been a little bit up the boo-eye for everybody in this world, and, you know, with changes and things like that. So it's kind of had a lot of, you know, we've had to shift our way of thinking and how we do things. So I kind of feel like there's a move, yeah, some sort of a travel or move. Could be travel. I'm hearing for some of you it's travel overseas. Others of you maybe just, or not just, but traveling around New Zealand, and or maybe or a move, you know, like a move, a home move, house move, and that's all that sort of thing. So, in some of yous, I kind of feel like you have moved, and you may have picked up your home and moved, and then maybe like this something has shifted and, you know, maybe, I don't know, maybe a little bit trickier than what you anticipated, but it's only, this too will pass. It's just ironing out solutions and things like that, negotiating things and what have you as well. But it's important, I'm hearing, is like to communicate what you're thinking, and how you're, what you're thinking, and you know, about, you know, asserting your power in, of course, a healthy way, a constructive way, and you know, and with a love-based energy, because, you know, and that's where our power is, and when we assert it in a healthy, constructive, compassionate or loving way, it's like in that sense, and not go rah 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 as per se. Although on saying that, sometimes, you know, we have to go in and rah rah for somebody to hear us, and then, you know, then it teeters out and, you know, plateaus out, and then we can, like, once the initial goes, then it's like comes out, you know, because sometimes, you know, some people just don't want are not hearing us at times. I'm feeling for some of you. So the other thing is about making some decisions. Okay, so it's like, I feel like for some of you it's about making some decisions, but just knowing, you know, and what some of this negotiating is about, or some of this this balancing is about, to bring about balance. So, but I do feel like this is actually you, you know, this balance, but in a different aspect to what it was before in the past, as well. But I'm hearing like, yeah, past for you. And the swords is something that's coming more in the present, where it's like, I feel like you're not able to express yourself at the moment about what was going on in the past, you know, about how you, you know, balancing stuff that was been there for a little while, and maybe you've been thinking about doing stuff, and, you know, and now whatever is here, it's like, okay, it's like bringing in balance, but in a different way, okay, or for a different, slightly different situation. So then we have the wheel. Okay, so the wheel in this deck, the wheel in this deck, okay, I still want to go back to the put. So this is by living by your ideals. So it's like, I live by my ideals. Okay, anyway, I think that's all I need to say with that one. We might have to go back. There's something else there. So, and this one here is the wheel. So I understand there is a time and season for everything. So there you go. And this is something for like, more so in the future, but in the present, moving into the future, it's like, will take you into the future. So it's just like the timing, okay, divine timing. And there is a cycle with the wheel. So like the wheel of fortune, or the wheel of life, or the wheel of, you know, it goes around and things kind of happen, and then you go with whatever we do. It's like, you know, like, you know, like with a, you know, with like with the seasons, there, you know, it goes right round, and we could be in winter, then summer, then spring, and then autumn. I think it goes the other way around, but those are the ones that just come to my mind, depending on where you're. Anyhow, so it's kind of like, you know, summer. I'm hearing like we're in summer now, so it's kind of, you know, our energy picks up. Then we go more into, you know, heading into, you know, winter. I mean, or spring, or no, God, I'm just like, where are they going? I think some of you are at different seasons. That's why I'm picking up on all these, you know, on everything all over the place, depending on where you are in the world. Anyway, here in New Zealand, we're in summer now, and of course we're going to go heading towards the autumny times, the winter time, and, you know, in the spring, and then the summer again. That cycles. But anyway, you know what I mean. So there is a cycle, and, you know, even with money, you know, often in life there's things that, you know, people come and go, but in life, you know, jobs come and go. Our life, you know, cycle with children, you know, whatever, you know, marriage, whatever. There's like kind of things that there's something about, like, even though I'm saying whatever, it's kind of like, wow, there's maybe, you know, like looking at the whatevers, okay? Because I'm hearing like some of you is maybe a little bit blocked in that, and that's why the whatevers, and maybe have an attitude about whatever's going on. So it's kind of finding some balance there, and then I feel like there's, yeah, the wheel, but just knowing that there is a, you know, wherever you are in that cycle of, you know, that cycle of going around, because sometimes we're at the top, and sometimes when, you know, when things happen, we're going to go that way. And like, for instance, money, we could be, you know, sitting there, and maybe something may go not right, and that you end up, you know, in the bottom there on your knees. Not saying not necessarily begging, but things might get a bit tight, and then coming back around, and you build yourself up, and then you turn things around, and you keep on moving till you get to the top. And then that cycle, depending on what you're doing and how you're working that cycle in your life, and the way that your attitude is, or what your journey is, it could sit there, it could sit, you know, hover around that place, or it could hover around there. And it depends on your belief system and your mindset, basically. So bringing about this balance again, that is obviously the key card. So I understand there is a time and a season for everything, okay, with the wheel. And so now, where are we going? Okay. So, we're at, this is like, this is meant to be like a 7-card spread, but, or idea of my, that come through, but anyway, this is you. Okay, now, the 4th card. So, in the center here, so the Death card, so there's definitely something that, you know, is, it's not you dying, by the way. The Death card is symbolic of something coming to an end. Like, you may be processing something like a negative attitude, or a negative attitude, just for the, you know, a negative attitude, or a negative way of looking at things, or it could be something that you're working on, not necessarily a negative thing, but a positive thing as well. Something that is coming to an end, like in a good way. Like, it could be that you are selling your home and you're moving on. And maybe you have, you know, really serious, you know, reservations about that. But now you've all come to terms with it. It could be like having a child, you know, like starting a family. It's like, well, am I ready yet? Da 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 da. And like somebody or something, somehow along the way, there's something that is, you know, comes, and it's like you tweak, your way of thinking tweaks. It could be your relationship with money and how money works with you, and going back to that wheel and an understanding of that, and whatever it is, that this balance that you're working on. It's like, maybe, yeah, like you've got, it could be a not so good attitude, or it could be a really good attitude towards it, but something is like, or maybe you didn't have a very good attitude towards it, but it's like, okay, something is shifting. Some of you, I'm feeling like there's definitely some sort of negative way of thinking, you know, belief system, or belief system. I say negative because it's quite a wide word. So whatever. So looking at the bigger picture. But it could be that, you know, maybe you're overthinking it. Or it could be, you know, like I say, a limiting belief, or a habit, or an addiction that you're wanting to like shift. a way of thinking that you may be working through. So I feel like this has got to do with you. So this is, I know this too shall pass. So there's maybe some processing going on. And when you get that processing, and like I say, it's once you get through it and you allow things to release and, stepping more into the moment, things will change. See, now we've got the Prince of Wands, who is the Knight of Wands in other decks, and he says, I passionately set out to conquer. So this is you. So there's some sort of shift in the way of your energy. So once again, you're going out in a positive attitude with the conquering, and that's like, constructive, energy behind it. So it's kind of like, yeah. And the Prince of Wands, and definitely this is because I'm just thinking, yes, of course it's a Wands, it's an Aries. So this fire sign here. So this is you, and it's like stepping out, moving on with a mass, that passionate energy with that, Wands brings through a passionate, energy, but in imagination, but obviously if there's no balance, then you're tipping too far to one side, like especially like the neg side, rather than the more future thinking positive and mindful and awareness and about what you're thinking and how you're thinking. It will be, there's obviously, like I say, they're using the word constructive. Okay. So, and they're also talking about, I'm hearing for some of you is the word constructive criticism as well. To keep it more that way. You could do, even though some of these things have been, I feel like some people may have been they have a quite destructive energy about them in the past. It's like, it's finding that place to forgive, but like, and returning or replying or responding with a constructive attitude, because it impacts ourselves at the end of the day, where we start to question, oh, maybe I shouldn't have acted like that or spoken like that or responded like that, and it kind of, what I mean? So we end up hurting ourselves more than what we, not that maybe it's your intention to hurt them, but to like make a point. So it's like just, constructive feedback, criticism, responding, because it's in your favor, in your favor, is that the right word? For some of you, this is about, making it, having a clear conscience for yourself, basically. So beautiful. So, and also this is not just about that, because I just feel like there's this motivation and passionate energy that, because it's like you're starting to see, because of this old way there of thinking, like what if, oh my God, this might happen, that might happen, or whatever. So you're putting up all these barriers, because I'm seeing for a lot of you it's more that than the positive, and it's like switching it over. And then there are some of you there that is going, that it's more positive. So I'm kind of feeling like there, even though there's some processing that's going on, it's like there was more pros than cons for you. And it's like, okay, that, sometimes you sit on the fence a bit, and you're just, like having that faith and that trust, that it's like, just keep going that way, more the trust, okay, and the faith. Because, and then here we go in the, so these two cards came out together. So we're moving into like the challenge. So the challenge here, the Six of Swords here, is, I adventure into the great unknown. So going back to that mindset thing again, that's the challenge, is like with the mind, is like not, because that's the swords there, going too far into your head. But it's like, this is a new adventure for you. So look at it, whatever it is that you're doing. Like I say, it could be a job, moving house, going into a new business. Like you're not necessarily fully going into, but it's maybe some of you have just made this decision to do it, like right or wrong now. Okay, that you may not be walking right into a business like next week or next month, could be next year, but it's like, right, I've made my mind up, this is what I'm going to do. So you're bringing together all these or researching or whatever the tools and things you need, or getting tickets, finding out all this information. Because then we have the Seven of Swords there, and I want others, I want what others have. So there's that sort of, and when they talk about like the challenge in that is like not going, yes, okay, where are they going with it? It's like, yes, you do, but it's like there is like this, going back to the wheel here, like there's a time and a place. This too shall pass. So it's like, this is like timing, basically. The challenge is not letting your head get in the way, but it's, you know, and making decisions and things like that. And I'm just hearing like, and thinking more positive in this space, because it's like, you know, this is, something's moving and not getting in your way. Because I'm looking at this and it's like something breaking down barriers, basically, your own barriers, with that one. And the Seven of Swords, it's interesting, the Seven of Swords comes out too, because it's like, once again, there's like taking that next step. You've broken through those barriers of the mind games that you play with yourself, that you play with in your, I'm just going to, and that, but it's also a time where I feel like, in a sense, for some of you, it's like, with that mind shift in here, it's like, okay, you're breaking through these barriers, both of them here. You're stepping outside, because, you know, because you're going to, not so much, you know, what others have. And I'm feeling for some of you it is a relationship, and, you know, maybe, you know, it's this, or a home or a family or whatever, or traveling, whatever it is, on your vision board. By the way, if you haven't done a vision board, maybe that's a good thing too. Okay, keep you on track. So there's something there where you're, you know, breaking through your cycles there. Okay, is the challenge, and getting yourself, pulling yourself up, say some of you off the couch, because you may have gone and or out of that self-pity mode, and because you can have what others have, and then, you know, or what kind of what they have, not exactly what they have. So be mindful with what you put out there. So then we go, what advice do you have for Aries? Oh, here we go, that one sticks right out. The Hierophant. So the Hierophant is, you know, he's a spiritual teacher, basically. So I teach, I am the teacher of universal law. So it's kind of like, I feel like, you know, there is, you know, you Saggies, where am I going? So you may have a Saggy in your life. You Arians, you know, you're pretty, you know, in touch, you know, usually in touch with yourself, like we all are, usually, mostly, but it's kind of maybe not so spiritual. I feel like some of you are more into the spiritual side of things than others, so you'll probably get that, but more than others in that sense. But, you know, spirituality really is, you know, it's getting in touch with ourselves, and it's being mindful and aware of our actions as well. And it's like, it's not necessarily just having to, like a lot of people in their thoughts and mind, it's about, you know, talking to spirit, but it's getting in touch with ourselves, in touch with nature. You know, it's our spirit getting in touch with ourselves, with our humanness, getting in touch with ourselves, with our humanness, and understanding, you know, how the cycle of life goes, how our, you know, and looking at our evolvement, like with the seasons, with, you know, and how the animals live, how the trees, you know, the world, Mother Earth, you know, all of that. On saying that, but yes, I am a spiritual teacher. I am the teacher of universal law. So there may be a spiritual awakening for you, for the lack of a better word, I'm going to use awakening. It's the inward, but there's a, you know, a connecting, I want to say, for most of you. It's like there's, you know, there's something that the penny drops, and epiphany and things like that. Then, but it's getting in touch with yourself, and, you know, like in all levels of your mind, body, spirit, soul. It's, you know, and bringing in the, you know, the mental, emotional side of things as well in there. So anyway, so there's something about that, going in deep. So that's the advice is like going within, checking in with yourself, stilling yourself, like with meditation. It's my go-to tool when I'm not, well, it's every day anyway, when I'm not going through a funny time, or when I'm going, you know, or when I am. But it's, you know, I meditate pretty much every day, in some way or form, not just sitting. So it's like exploring that, going into that stillness, creating that stillness within, so you can have a little bit of space and to connect in with you. Okay. And then, you know, for the a possible outcome, we have, you know, the Ten of Swords. Okay, so the Ten of Swords talks about, you know, I must evolve. That's kind of like where it gets to that point in this journey. It's like evolving, in order to be able to do, you know, what it is what we want to do, be, give, have, and in our lives. And with whatever the journey is, or journeys we are. It's like 10 is like something is coming to an end, okay? It's the end of a completion of a cycle. So for the 10, you know, 9 is the completion of the cycle. So I see the 10 as like that transitional period, and when all that that information is, you know, is coming together from the 9, from that journey from the 1 to the 9, or from the ace to the 9, and it's like, okay, you know, you're at that completion of that journey, you've, you know, accumulated what it is that you need to do, and then transferring it and moving into this, or transitioning and moving all that information and processing it a little bit more as you're moving into the new phase, or the next phase. It could be a new phase of something else, but I'm just hearing for some of you it's the next phase of whatever it is that's going to get, whatever it is you have in mind. How I was going to say, how I'm learning. Okay, how cool is that? Okay, awesome. And so, because that's when the page comes in, and the page is like the new phase, or the next phase of something that you're already of the first, of a phase that you've been going through or working on. So there's that transitional. So it's, you're figured out that, yeah, okay, I'm going to bring that. I must evolve and process this information, gather this this information here, and this new information, amalgamate it, blend it, or you know, calibrate it, or whatever it is, as I'm moving forward, knowing that actually there may be some tweaks in here and there that you know, that are coming up along the way. Okay, cool. Okay, so anyway, I'm just going to pull a card from the Energy Oracle deck. So just know that these deck cards the decks have all been shuffled before I come in, so I don't really necessarily need to shuffle the shuffle. Okay, so there's the Thinking Man, number 46 in the deck. So some of you, you may have a male energy that's coming into your life that's helping you to like move into that, or you may be going towards a male energy, a new partner, or whether it be a business partner, or it may be, you know, a relationship that you're going, something, or some of you may even like be getting married. Some of you, I can't say just females, but some of you, you know, people may be getting married out there. To a male energy that's but it's like, I do feel like some of you, there is a male energy coming to you that helps you like click those, you know, into, you know, put things together again, bring things together to mind. But some of you, you know, from a business perspective, or a career or a job perspective, looking at that. So, you know, it's whatever it is, it's about something that is going to help with grounding, because it's number 46 in the deck. So 4 for me is about, you know, security and direction. So there's something, which is what I feel this is mostly about, actually, is, you know, foundation, security, direction, but in creating one. So there's some of you, maybe this may be the first phase of creating this, you know, a solid, sound, stable foundation of, you know, whatever, family, home, career, business, relationship, whatever that is, or moving into one. But yeah, so some of these, like I say, maybe just starting this, or maybe partly there, and maybe this hasn't come to fruition yet properly, that you know of. In the background there may be something going on. So, but then number 6 is about, you know, you know, it's but thinking about, you know, like that giving and sharing side of things, you know, finding that balance in there, but also, you know, having that, there's a sense of, you know, for me, like, it's kind of like a being of a service, it's about service to humanity in a way. I'm just trying to figure out, ask them the best way to explain and figure out. Some of you will get that, but it's even, you know, that foundation and building that, but it's being mindful about how we do it, okay? It's because there's just like, because I keep hearing like humanity, doing it in a more humane way, or taking into account the okay, humanity, the humanitarian side of things. But I'm also hearing not so much the it's like environment stuff, but humanitarian way of things, how you deal with people basically, and as you're on this journey. And it could be wherever you're going with that, what they're talking about, that I have no idea for some of you. But it could be that, you know, you with the business that you are going into, or some of you may be managing a new business or in a new management role. Okay, so the Ace of Cups. So that's what we're going to finish with there. The Ace of Cups wants to come out and lets you know, I overflow with the essence of life. Okay, so there's, you know, there's something that comes to fruition where it's like you allow that happens, and it's like you overflow with the essence of life, because something maybe just really working, and it's like your emotions. It's more like you know, there's a new journey with the way, like you're more in touch, whatever this journey is. It's more in touch with God. You're more in touch with your emotions, and there's a new beginning in that way. And so therefore there's a you're moving forth on another journey. How cool is that? Anyway, I'm going to leave that there with you, Aries. So lots of love, peace, harmony, joy, excitement, and adventure. And we shall see you next Thursday. Okay? Okay. Bye for now.